Hello everyone, welcome to the full moon pick a card reading. So this full moon is in Aquarius and it's on the 1st or the 2nd of August, just depending on where you are in the world. Now this full moon is the first of two full moons that fall in August, and it's also a supermoon. So for me, I feel like the intensity, the energies of this full moon are just bigger. Because as a supermoon, the moon is actually visually bigger in the sky. So I just find the energies tend to just be bigger. At this full moon and with those Aquarian energies, it's a great time to speak your truth, slow down, almost a sense of try your luck, and really to make an effort. The full moon is all about letting go, releasing things that haven't worked out, releasing things that you're no longer in line with. So it's making an effort, or trying your luck in those areas, like really just taking a chance and letting something go to see what else can come in at the next new moon. The Aquarian energy is quirky, it's humanitarian, and it's independent. So embracing those energies at this full moon will assist you in releasing, letting go, being grateful, and also focusing on those things, aspects of yourself, things that you've done, the people around you, how you can give, or how those things may need forgiveness. This full moon will ask you this full moon will ask you to release anything that you have kind of changed yourself to be able to fit in or be in that particular situation or with those particular people. It will have you looking at what makes you unique. The Aquarius energy is, like I said earlier, it's quirky, so it is unique. So it does ask you to embrace your authentic self, your uniqueness. Now, Aquarius rules the 11th house, which is the house of friendships. So this may have you wanting to socialize more, or it might have you evaluating if your friends are still right for you. So again, this full moon is a time of releasing and letting go. So in the sector of friendship, you might be looking at where suddenly you feel like maybe with some friends or acquaintances you just don't gel anymore. Remember, this full moon offers us the clarity to release, forgive, and be grateful for what is in our life at the present moment. This full moon in Aquarius may have you feeling a little bit more spontaneous or rebellious than usual. That's just those Aquarian energies, which is great because it won't have us maybe overthinking things too much. Use those energies to your advantage by biting the bullet on something that has been on your mind. If you're feeling stuck in a rut, this full moon will definitely help you get out of it. Those Aquarian energies are really, really good at kind of, because it's spontaneous, because it's quirky, it will really have you leaping forward. So when it's time to release things, that energy can really help us because it stops us from getting too stuck, holding on too tightly to things. Let's get started. Okay, my friends, we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3, and pole number 4. So for pole number 1, we have the aventurine. For pole number 2, we have the amethyst. For pole number 3, we have the black obsidian. And for pole number 4, we have the picture jasper. So my friends, take your time, select a pole that you feel drawn to or called to. Select as many poles as you need, as you feel the need. Pause the video if you need more time, and just trust that there's a message in whatever pole you choose. Trust that the way that you guess or the way that you allow your intuition to draw you to a particular pole is exactly the pole that you need. See you in your reading. Hello, pole number 1. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what, actually I might pop them over this way. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this full moon in Aquarius. So your overall energy, we've got seclusion and we've got mastery. Oh, that's quite interesting energy. We've got the 6 of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, the Lovers, and the 7 of Cups. And then the Moonology messages, we've got take time to breathe out and believe in the impossible. Do you know, the minute I read that believe in the impossible, I saw this mastery card. I just got this download that there's something that at the moment you don't have the know-how, pole number 1. Maybe you haven't learned something yet, or maybe you haven't mastered something yet. So there is something, and I feel like it's in your peripheral vision, that you don't believe is possible. And Spirit's kind of saying, yet. And I feel like you might be looking at things in a way that says, oh, well, you know, I won't look at that, and I won't look at that, and I won't look at that, because I can't do that. But I just feel it's because you don't have the mastery yet. There's a piece of your puzzle that's missing, pole number 1. So let's start with this overall energy. Now I'm seeing this seclusion as, before I was even drawn to the word, I was actually drawn to the number. And I didn't even see 32, I just saw 5. And I feel that there is change upon you. And I believe that you know that, because with this image, and I don't think I've ever had this, I don't think I've ever seen it like this before, but I kind of feel like this house has been picked up and plonked down in this environment. And the lady's coming out going, oh, is this where I landed? There is this thing of almost the seclusion will bring the change. It's almost like, oh, what Spirit is giving me with that, the house being plonked down somewhere and she's coming out and going, oh, is this where I've landed? Basically with that image and those words, what Spirit has given me is the fact that there's a sense that you need to retreat in order for things to happen. And that's telling me that, like in that scenario, pole number 1, you're basically releasing control. So it's almost like she's gone indoors and said, okay, I'll just land where I'm going to land. I'm not going to look, because if I look, I'll get scared. If I look, I'll kind of think, oh, make it here, or oh no, don't make it there, or I'll try to take control. So if I go inside and I don't look, then I'm going to go exactly where the universe wants me to be, where my higher self is guiding me. And that's a really important message in your reading. And this is for the month, like for the next 4 weeks, because my friends, this is from full moon to full moon. And there's a sense here that the more you can let go, the more you can try not to control. I'm even feeling like, you know, what example do you want me to give, Spirit? How? Okay, so now Spirit is saying this might be a scenario for some of you, but definitely not all of you. But this is just to give you an inkling of how this could play out, or the energies that you will, well, not that you need to embrace, but Spirit is guiding you to embrace, pole number 1. So I want you to just imagine if you were on the market for a rental property, and the real estate agent said to you, you know, what do you want? What if you said to them, do you know what, I'm not going to give you any limits. Show me what's good. Or maybe you're just going to give a limit. So for instance, you might have, because we've all got constraints, so imagine that you have a budget, like a strict budget. Okay, you might just say, look, show me what you've got in this budget, the rest. That's a way, interestingly enough, that's a way how we leave things up to fate. You might say, I've got no budget. I've got no other requirements except that it be 10 minutes from my work, in any direction, but 10 minutes from my work. Or you might be in a position where you can literally place no limits. Or you might say, show me something in this budget, that budget, and that budget. But you're really giving the other person kind of free range. And there's something in this that is so important, and this can play out in any area of your life, but it's almost like you're not trying to control it by, like, if that's going inside and letting the house land where it lands. The opposite of that is you saying to the real estate agent, I want it at this price, I want it at this place, I want 2 bedrooms, I want not ground floor. That is us controlling. Now, you know, Spirit is well aware that we do have limits. You know, we do operate sometimes with a limited budget. We do operate with some, you know, we don't want to be commuting 3 hours to get to our job, you know, or even an hour. Sometimes even half an hour is a deal breaker. You know, sometimes we might need to be in walking distance or public transport. So, but I think the fewer limits you can place, like, make the limits that you give absolutely because you have to. And I think that's where the world opens up, because I'm seeing this Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers is like, this is fated and you're going to love it. So your other overall energy is this Mastery card. And I feel that this particular journey, or these next 4 weeks, this full moon leading you into the next full moon, pole number 1, I really feel it's going to teach you a lot about yourself. And I think one of maybe the biggest thing is how when we breathe out, we let go. And breathing out to me is like letting go of control. When we hold our breath, we're in control. We're controlling our breathing. When we breathe out, it's almost like I'm just going to let things be. And that puts us in a space to believe in the impossible. And I feel that in this letting go, because this breathing out I feel is like letting go, there is something that manifests for you that I feel you would have at one stage thought it was impossible. Or if you had tried to control it, you wouldn't have gone for that because you just wouldn't even have considered it a possibility. Now that might mean you would never have imagined it. It might mean you never thought you would have liked it. It might mean it was too far-fetched, too ambitious, too big a dream to even dare dream. And I feel this opens you up because I see the light behind him, and I feel that opens him up to his inner light. Now, I also see him like protecting the castle that is behind him. There's this drawbridge gate, and he's come out to protect the castle behind him. And I feel this is a little bit like Spirit just giving you a heads up, pole number one, that sometimes we feel we know what's best. But with this Mastery card, I'm kind of getting the feeling that you're not there yet, pole number one. You're not operating from a place of complete trust, complete openness, allowing yourself to be completely guided. And that is not an easy place to be. And Spirit's telling me that even when you do master that, you still go between one and the other, because we've still got our humanness that we never get rid of. So we will always go between. But this mastery level, I believe, is where you're headed, not where you are. And I feel this Mastery card has come out for you, pole number one, because I feel a lot of you feel that you are here. You have mastered. Actually, do you know what I was going to say? I was going to say you have mastered yourself, and I hesitated because I thought, oh, and Spirit said, no, that's right. But you haven't mastered yourself. You've just mastered control over your environment. So there's a sense here that Spirit's showing me, pole number one, that your mastery is not in letting go and accepting. Your mastery actually is in you're in an environment where you actually have a lot of control. So things are falling into place because you're just in that place where you can control a lot of things. So Spirit's giving me an example, like in work. When you come in at base level, you don't have a lot of control. You've got that many bosses above you, if you like. There's like this hierarchy above you that you're, for want of a better way of saying it, you're at the whim of others. But when you get to the top of that hierarchy, you're the boss, you're the manager, you have a lot more control of your environment. And Spirit's saying, please don't confuse the two, pole number one. It's a very interesting message. And you know, the full moon is all about clarity, and the full moon is all about releasing and letting go. And so I really feel, in just because these are your overall energies, I really feel, pole number one, that one thing that you are really letting go of is the way you are in charge, and the way you take charge of your life, and the way you control things around you. And that can be outcomes and people, and I'm not saying that you do it in a bad way, because if you are a boss, well, you do have to control, in a sense. You do have to guide and initiate and delegate and things like that. That's part of the job. But there's this sense that don't confuse delegating and instructing as letting go and releasing and being in the flow. So then we've got these additional messages with the oracle. We've got the disseminating moon with take time to breathe out, and we've got the blue moon with believe in the impossible. And I feel it's at this breathing out that the impossible, you will see the impossible. The impossible will initiate, if you like. And I'm really being drawn to the clarity in these cards. There is kind of like this haze, this fog in take time to breathe out. And so this is showing me, pole number one, that it's not easy for you to let go, because I feel like clarity is not optimal at the moment. I feel like if you think you let go, if you breathe out and you release control, I feel that in your mind it's going to play out like, well, I'm just not going to get what I want, and that's silly. Why would I set myself up to not get what I want when I know that I can get what I want? And there's a sense with that, same with this mastery, I feel like, not that you don't know what you want, pole number one, I really believe you do know what you want. But with this kind of haze here, and with this mastery card, where I'm seeing the mastery card as you haven't reached this level. You're not at this level. There's still a lot that you don't see or know. And that's just reinforced with this breathe out. So there's this sense here of, if you can let go and trust that maybe you don't know what is best for you. Maybe what you want is not the ultimate that spirit wants to bring to you. Because look how much clearer this believe in the impossible is. And I feel this is spirit saying, your higher self, we know better. We have a plan for you. All we need is for you to trust and let go. And that's the energy of a full moon. This seclusion is not really a seclusion where you've got to sort of hibernate or disappear from the world. This seclusion, I feel, is just like, you know, when you seclude yourself, you take away options, don't you? You know, you're not out in the world, you're not mingling, you're in the isolation, you're taking things away from yourself. And I think that's what this seclusion is take away all those ideals, the way you saw things going, that list that you might have for this particular thing or scenario or people. So then the 4-week breakdown, we've got at this full moon, we've got the 6 of Wands. At the waning moon, we've got the Wheel of Fortune. At the new moon, we've got the Lovers. And then at the waxing moon, we've got the 7 of Cups. Now, this is lovely because this tells me, pole number 1, that you actually have come a long way. This 6 of Wands is success and accomplishment and moving forward. And I feel there's a sense here of, yes, you've gotten so far, like you've gotten to this place of success, you've gotten to this place of achievement. This person has just come from the war, but they have been victorious. And now they're moving forward into a new life. And I feel, pole number 1, that there's this sense here of, yes, you had success. Yes, you accomplished great things. You know, to win a war, one in itself, just to stop the war, is amazing. And then to be victorious, you know, it just means that you've accomplished. It was right for you. But I'm feeling that Spirit is saying that mindset got you to where you are now. But this person you are now is not the person that went into the war. You're different now. The war changed you. And the war is a metaphor for your past journey, your challenges, your obstacles, what you've overcome. And it's like, if you can't go into your next life with that mindset, because that means you're assuming that what you're walking into is the same as what you had in the past. And Spirit's saying that's not at all the case. So it's almost like at this full moon, which the energies are just perfect for this, because the full moon is all about forgiveness, gratitude, and letting go. So at this place of the 6 of Wands, this success, this triumph, this accomplishment, there's a sense here of being grateful where you find yourself now. Be grateful for the lessons and what you've learned. There's also a sense of, you know, forgive the past journey, heal the past disappointments, traumas, baggage that we might be carrying from the past. Give that forgiveness to enable it to heal. And then there's this sense of let it go. Because then Spirit wants you to move forward almost with no expectation. Almost with an open heart, an open mind, and a willingness to just see what can happen, what's coming to you next. Because after the full moon, we have the waning moon, and that is a slowing down. That is a time for reflection, and it's not a big doing time. The waxing moon, like when the moon is growing, that's when things speed up, and this is a time for doing. This is almost a time for contemplation. And again, still having those energies of releasing, letting go, healing. And Spirit saying, if you can just embrace that slowing down, not trying to dictate or force how things are going to go, not place limits on things. The Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana, so Spirit is bringing you this. And the Wheel of Fortune is fated. It is the wheel turning in a fortuitous way, or fortuitous way. It's good luck, but of course luck is just a word we use for something that we didn't plan. But when we know, we say, oh, it's fated, it was meant to be. And then at the new moon, when we set our goals, intentions, wishes and plans, the more you could have let go here and not pushed or given your list or tried to make things happen or limited things. At this new moon, you are going to be given the clarity. You're going to, because of the sun here, your guardian angel, because these people are naked, it shows authenticness, it shows openness. I feel like you're going to be making those new moon wishes and intentions from a place of not only authenticity, but clarity, and a place from what you love. Because I'm seeing this love as in your reading, pole number 1, as you're really going to know what you love. You're really going to know where your heart is. You're really going to know, because in this letting go, things are going to trickle towards you that you'll be like, I never thought that was possible. Gosh, could I really do that? You know, I'm thinking of changing suburbs, and suddenly I'm looking at changing states or countries. You know, I was thinking of entering this profession at this level, and suddenly there's a job offer at this level. Like, gosh, I didn't think that was possible. You know, Spirit is bringing you more. And it's going to be so aligned with, I'm not going to say what you want, because here it's not what you would have wanted. It's not what you would have chosen for yourself, because you couldn't believe that it was possible. But after this Wheel of Fortune, if you're able to just let go, release, and see what comes to you, you're just going to be so aligned with this, and you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, I love this. And then you go into the waxing moon, which is when we start taking action on our hopes, wishes and dreams. You've got this 7 of Cups, and I just feel the illusions of what once was possible are just not going to trick you. Thank you, Spirit. That's brilliant. I just don't think you're going to be tricked into thinking, I can only have this, or I should only have that. I don't think this 7 of Cups in your reading, you are not going to limit yourself, pole number 1, on what fulfills you. Because I think with this Wheel of Fortune and the Lovers, you're going to see exactly where your fulfillment is guiding you. And so you're just not going to allow yourself to be limited. You're just not going to allow yourself to settle for less. I think you're going to see really clearly what is your cup of fulfillment and what isn't. And you're just not going to waste your time on things that the Spirit just said that are mediocre. Because you're mastering, like towards the end here, if you can let go. If you can let go and just believe that you don't control everything. Believe in the impossible. Believe, trust. Yes, thank you, Spirit. That's so important. If you can trust, you will master like this next level, this next understanding. You'll reveal this next level of yourself, if you like, pole number 1. That really moves you forward. And it's interesting because you would have thought that by saying I want this, this and this, that would really move you forward, because that's very direct. But in actual fact, it would have blocked you and stunted you in some way. Whereas by saying, well, you know what, let's just see what comes. Suddenly it's like the flood doors open, and then you get to where you want to. Well, you get to where your higher self is guiding you, and you will come to see it's exactly that. If you could have dreamt big enough, what you would have wanted for yourself. Oh, an amazing reading, pole number 1. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light and blessings, pole number 1. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 2. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this full moon. So your overall energy is trust and victory. Then the 4-week breakdown from full moon to full moon, we have the Empress at the full moon. We have the 8 of Wands at the waning moon. We have the 2 of Wands at the new moon. And we have the 9 of Pentacles at the waxing moon. Beautiful. And then additional messages with the Moonology cards. We have confidence is your key to success, and emotions are running high. Yes, and with this victory, I can completely understand why, my friends. This is a beautiful reading. And I think it all hinges on this trust. So this is your overall energy, and I think this is the overall energy that permeates through your whole reading. I think this confidence, which is your key to success, this victory, emotions running high, that means there's excitement, there's exhilaration, and they all ride on this trust. Now, Spirit just went, look at the 34. That's a 7. We are working a 7 year this year, my friends. And that means that this trust card is going to permeate through the rest of your year. So I feel that you're going to be asked to trust, and there'll be a victory. And then you'll be asked to trust again, and there'll be another victory. And then you'll be asked to trust again. So I feel the rest of this year for you, pole number 2, is Spirit is really opening you up to trust. Trust in your higher self. Trust in your judgment, but not the judgment that comes from your ego, not the limited judgment of yourself. The judgment that basically says, do you know what? I know that whatever happens, I'll manage. I can take that leap of faith. Because I love this card, because it's almost like the Fool. But it's like she's taken the leap, but she hasn't reached the other side. But she's been caught with this glorious energy just the same. And this trust card to me has a real world element to it. Gosh, the messages that are coming from Spirit are so thick and fast with this card, because it's like, you know, Spirit saying sometimes the amount of times that we leap from one cliff to the other and clear it perfectly is very small on the journey of our lifetime. And that's because we have our humanness. So we trust, but as we jump, we hesitate, because where if this kills our body? You know, we have a built-in system with the ego, that the ego is part of us to protect this body that we have, because this body is limited. You damage this body too much and you're no longer here. This life journey ends. So our ego is in place to kind of warn us. But our ego takes it too far. And sometimes our ego focuses on the wrong things. And Spirit's giving me an analogy here of, you know, our experiences, the words I'm getting is they forge our ego. So our ego is what it is when we're born, and then it gets forged out of the fire of our experiences. And that sounds so dramatic, because Spirit's, I think, trying to make us see how dramatic the ego feels, because it feels like it holds on to the fear, it holds on to the emotions, and it runs with those. So the analogy that Spirit gave me was, you can have somebody that is a thrill seeker. They'll jump off buildings, they will swim with sharks, they will, and their ego, oddly enough, doesn't kick in to protect their body. But their ego kicks in the minute they go to fall in love. They will push partners away. They'll only date partners that are wrong for them, because then, well, it's not quite right, so they're not going to invest too much. And that's to show, just using that example, to show Spirit is showing us how our egos can be out of balance because of the previous experiences we've had. That daredevil probably has had many bones broken, and it's like, oh well, I've always healed. So the experiences, even though tough, it hasn't held on to the same consequence, but maybe they truly got their heart broken, or maybe they saw somebody in their family, a parent, or truly get heartbroken, and love now for them is number one security. Like, it is just like, oh, that is the thing that's going to be my undoing, that's the thing that's going to kill me, even though, you know, it won't, kind of thing. So there's a lot of messages coming from this trust card, and there's almost a sense that trust that the leap, it doesn't matter if you leap and you land here, or if you land here, or when we ask to take a leap, take a chance, and it's got us at the same time terrified and completely excited, we need to embrace that side of us that is trust. Now, Spirit's just calling me to the victory card, because look at this person. He's kind of like in between. You know, I feel they mirror each other really well, but they're different. I feel like this is at the start of the leap, and this is the end. And I feel that this person, pole number 2, look, she's afraid. She's leapt, and she's kind of like, oh, I've missed. Oh. And it's like, oh no. But where you land, look at the victory here. He's still in the middle. He hasn't reached the other side. But there's a sense of where you land, because this is a metaphor. You're not going to land in the middle of the canyon. But it just means that sometimes we take stepping stones to get to the other place. But where you land, if you trust and you're open, there'll be a lesson in it. There'll be something that makes you wiser than what you were before. There's something that you can accomplish there. There is a victory there. Trust. If all you can manage these next 4 weeks, because this is sort of from full moon to the next full moon, trust. Even if you just go, am I trusting? Am I in a place of trust? Am I trusting, or am I trying to control? Am I trusting, or am I making my choices out of fear? I think that's something, pole number 2, that you need to ask yourself all through the next 4 weeks. Because look at this, you've got the new moon in Leo. Confidence is your key to success. It takes confidence, it takes belief in oneself to take a leap of faith. And it also takes confidence to, when you land, if it doesn't look like what you expected, to embrace it and go, okay, well, I'm meant to be here, or I'm meant to be doing this, or I'm meant to be experiencing this. Okay then, excuse me, I don't like it. The quickest way I'm going to get out of this, because I'm not particularly happy here, is to trust, to accept. Because it's odd, and maybe this is something that's coming into your awareness, pole number 2, because it really is odd about how when we trust, things just fall into place. When we trust, and sometimes it's not even an action. When we just go, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. Spirit, I say yes. I'm open. Yep, I'm willing. Show me the way. Yep, I know that you've got this. I know that I've got this. That's confidence. And that opens up doors. Now, Spirit is asking me to share a little anecdote to make this more real, what this saying yes is all about. when I was in Perth, I had a friend who was talking to me about house sitting, and I was kind of like, oh no, I don't know. There's so much change. I've already had so much change and movement, and I thought, oh, I don't know, to go from one place to I couldn't see it happening. And then one day I just went, you know what, Christelle, why has this come into your vision? And why, like, I was contemplating it, like I was, but then I'd think of all these excuses why I shouldn't. And then one night, just before falling asleep, I said to Spirit, you know what, Spirit, I say yes. I'd seen a house sit that I thought could be really good in Perth, and I said to Spirit, you know what, I say yes. Tomorrow morning, I'm applying for that. I say yes to house sitting. And I woke up the next morning and the house sit was gone. It must have already been taken, and the people actually took the ad down. And I remember thinking, well, what the hell is all that about? I said yes, and then you take it away. But you know what? That house sit wasn't for me. I just had to say yes and open myself up to the possibility of house sitting, which then, if you know a bit of my story through my different readings, I actually got to travel to the other side of Australia with her and house sit around New South Wales. And now I'm house sitting on my own in Sydney. But Spirit brought me somewhere so much better, because I had outgrown Perth. And I knew that, but I was going to house sit in Perth. And now that I think back at that, I think that's so silly. But that's how we limit ourselves. So that's a little story about me, pole number 2. But there's something in that that might help you see what this is about. How saying yes doesn't mean you're going to get that exact same thing that you're saying yes to, but how Spirit can just bring us so much more than we expect. And what we would really want for ourselves if we dared to hope, if we thought it was possible. That takes confidence. Confidence to trust, confidence to say yes. And then confidence to sit back and see what happens. And this supermoon, and this card is doubly important for you, pole number 2, because this supermoon, this is a supermoon in Aquarius. So, and the supermoon for me is just that the energies is like supercharged, if you like. And these emotions are running high. This is excitement. This is exhilaration. This is like you jumping up and down and clapping, because it's like, oh my God, what? Who would have thought? Who would have dared to think? There's joy in this card. There's exuberance. There's, you know, like your heart's bursting. And that's a beautiful energy, my friends. And it's the confidence to see that maybe you can't see past your limitations. That this is this victory. It is like, what? You know, when I started house sitting in New South Wales with my friend, 1, it was so much fun to be doing it with a friend. So much less scary as well. And 2, to be in New South Wales, oh my gosh, that was so much more exciting than being in Perth, WA, where I had spent the majority of my life. And I knew that it was no longer a place for me. I had outgrown it. And so it was just like, what? And you know, and until this day, when I think about that, I think, Christelle, you know, you were going to limit yourself. I was going to limit myself. But in jumping, in saying that initial yes and then going, oh, but I said yes to that house sit and now you've taken the ad away. And I was really, at first, I was like, well, what's all that about, Spirit? And then, you know, because I do listen, and because that's a very big lesson that I've spent years tapping into, is I do listen for that quiet whisper. And the quiet whisper that I got back is, it wasn't for you. I just needed you to say yes. And so now I know sometimes that sometimes I'm just called to say yes. And then if I start something and then it doesn't work out, I know that it was just the saying yes that I needed to do to open myself up to something different. Now, you have the Empress at this full moon. Now, this full moon is all about forgiveness. Sorry, and Spirit's just correcting me here. So it's not this full moon. All full moons, the energy and the work to do at a full moon is all about forgiveness, gratitude, and letting go, releasing our expectations, what hasn't worked, and where things are no longer in alignment with us because we've changed and evolved and moved on. Now, Spirit is asking you to do that work from the seat of the Empress. What does that mean for you, pole number 2? In a nutshell, it means release, accept, forgive, and find gratitude with no energy of lack. Now, Spirit's saying to me, elaborate. That means that when you're looking at releasing and letting go, don't think, oh, yeah, but, you know, if I let that person go, I'll be lonely. If I let that thing go, I might need it again. It's this sense of, oh, I don't want to let it go because what if? So you want to hold on to it. When we don't come at things from a place of lack, we know that in releasing, we make space for the new to come in. So there's this sense, pole number 2, that whenever you find yourself going, oh, I think it's time to release this, and then going, oh, but, just see if that but is coming from lack, because Spirit's saying to me it is. The Empress is abundant. She knows the effort she needs to put in order to reap reward. It's not like she does nothing. But at the same time, she knows the effort that Spirit does. And Spirit puts in the same effort. It's like this co-creation, this balance. And she doesn't allow herself to think that it's, you know, if you don't do it for yourself, you get nothing. That saying doesn't exist for her. You know, the Empress is often depicted as a pregnant woman, like giving birth to new ideas, giving birth to, that can be literally giving birth, but it's giving birth to another life. And I feel the sense here in the, let's look at the analogy of the pregnant woman actually going to give birth. Now, there's an element of the miraculous in it. I mean, we all know, you know, how somebody falls pregnant, but, you know, when you really look at it scientifically, it's quite a miracle. And so, you know, there's an element of the universe, God playing a part. And then, but the female, the woman needs to carry that child, so she has to do her bit. And this is just an analogy, please, for the gentlemen out there listening. It's just a metaphor, just to help you understand how we co-create. You know, she knows she has to do her bit. She has to carry the baby, look after herself while she's pregnant, and then she has to give birth. But she knows it's not all up to her. She knows there's another element to it. And I think at this full moon, it's so important that you embrace an energy of abundance, not lack. And then at this waning moon, so the waning moon is at the following week. So this is the week of the full moon. This is the week of the waning moon. Now, this waning moon is when we slow down, take stock. And that enables us at the new moon to kind of see more clearly what we want, how we've changed, so that we're making our wishes and our dreams and our intentions and our goals from a place of alignment. And this Eight of Wands, I'm just seeing it as a releasing, letting go. And I feel that this is basically saying to me, pole number 2, if you can embrace this energy of the Empress, this energy of abundance, I know that I have to do my bit, Spirit will do its bit. Again, it's a card of trust. She trusts. You know, she trusts if she plants the seeds and she cultivates them, she'll have a harvest. And so there's this energy of trust, of abundance, and of co-creation. That energy will bring you into the waning moon, letting go of real tangible things that make a difference in your life. And the Eight of Wands is a card that signifies rapidness, speed. And here in your reading, I am seeing it a little bit of speed, like I feel things will fall away, but not that they're going to fall away super fast. I just feel like they're going to fall away easily. When you embrace this energy, these things kind of just, they fall away with minimal fear, minimal sadness or regret. It just seems to be easier, less traumatic, there's less fear in it, there's less grasping and holding on. So it'll feel like everything's falling away fast, but I just think it's because you've opened your arms and you're letting go, and you're going, oh, do you know what, I'm not sure that this suits me anymore. Spirit, if it's not for me, like, I'm just going to give it to you. Just, you know, just allow it to fall away. It's that kind of energy. It's that once we release, things can just naturally take their course. And you've got the most amazing card for a new moon. You've got the Two of Wands. And for those of you that know me, this is my most favorite card, because I think it's because at this time in my life, for the last few years, I have found myself constantly coming back to this. I do a bit of a journey and then I'm coming back to going, okay, where to now? What do I want now? What do I need to reevaluate? What are my goals and wishes now? Because I've been through quite a rapid transformation that has taken years. But now that I have the beauty of hindsight, I can see how rapid it was. And so I love this card because it's almost telling me, like, to me, it's the card that says, you've done this, pole number 2. So now you find yourself here where you're reevaluating your life from who you are right now, not from your past journey, who you were in the past. He's holding the new Ace of Wands. The past you held this old Ace of Wands. This old Ace of Wands is your old journey that brought you to be you in this present moment, and you are holding a new journey in your hand. So this card to me signifies that you're not moving forward with the baggage of your past. You've taken the lessons you've learned, and you are fully aware that the person that needs to walk into your future is your present you, not your past you. And so this you understands that you have different goals and dreams because you're changed, you're different. You've taken those leaps of faith. Your confidence has increased. You're more excited maybe for those changes in your life to happen, because each time you overcome a fear or you accomplish something, and therefore it's like this knock-on effect. Once you start embracing change, once you start acknowledging how far you've come and who you are now, suddenly things fall into place. And I feel that's part of this this Eight of Wands as well, is just having things fall into place for you. And so at the new moon, the week of the new moon, which is when we set our dreams, our goals and our intentions, you have the card that means set new goals, wishes and intentions. So how aligned is that, pole number 2? And I feel this is what you'll be doing. And you won't be limiting yourself. It's almost like the world is my oyster. If I can dream it, I can achieve it. And it's not to say that everything is going to turn out exactly as you predicted, because there's his learnt trust. But there's this sense of, okay, well, let me say yes to this new life. Let me say yes to these experiences that I don't know. And then fully understanding that spirit will bring you those. You will be guided towards those that help you grow and evolve further. So it's always this growing and evolving and changing. And then the week of the waxing moon, which is the doing week, when we take action, when we move forward on these dreams, goals and intentions, start to plan, start to maybe see the steps we can take. You got the 9 of Pentacles. This is success. This is another card of great abundance. And this is a card of independence. So you might be going it alone, or maybe you're standing on your own 2 feet, maybe for the first time, or maybe with real confidence in yourself, and you're achieving things that are completely and utterly in alignment with you. There is so much achievement, there is so much success, there is abundance, there is dreams and goals that you'll be victorious on. This is an amazing reading, pole number 2. And really, Spirit's saying all you need to do is open yourself up to trust and to feel grateful for where you are, to give forgiveness for your past mistakes. That'll increase your confidence to know that in each stage we're going to make mistakes, and to really let go of what no longer serves you, what is no longer for you. Oh, pole number 2, this is magic. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love, light and blessings, pole number 2. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this full moon. You have graduation, you have presence as your overall energy for this reading. You have the 10 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the 9 of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, I love this energy. And then additional messages with the Oracle, the Moonology cards. You've got a personal issue reaches resolution, and you've got prosperity lies ahead. Absolutely, pole number 3. And you know, I'm drawn to say you've got the black obsidian crystal, which is, you know, real protection crystal. The black crystals tend to be quite protective of our energies and of energies that surround us, you know, blocking those bad energies if we find ourselves in those situations. And I feel it's really apt in your reading. So we start off with graduation, and I really feel this means exactly what it says. I feel like you're graduating from a stage in your life to move forward to another stage of your life. Now, a graduation is a celebration. It's an acknowledgement of how far students have come, and it's to celebrate the work that they've done. So I feel that Spirit is saying, pole number 3, celebrate your achievements. And I feel the reason why this card is here is because I feel that for some of you, I don't know if initially you're actually going to feel like you succeeded. I don't actually feel, I think it's further on in the 4 weeks, the 4-week breakdown, that I think you start to see, oh wow, that was not a great passage, but oh my gosh, look at where I am now. And this comes to a 10. So in tarot, a 10 is completion. You've also got the 10 of Swords. So this graduation is a completion. I feel like it is, you have completed a journey. And this graduation card here is Spirit wants you to pause and acknowledge that the journey has finished and you have learnt what you needed to learn. Because it's like a student graduating and then suddenly going, oh, right, oh, maybe I might study this. And it's like, well, you just graduated in that. You know, this might be, let's say it's a teacher. And it's like, oh, okay, graduated, now it can go out and find a job and be a teacher. And suddenly it's almost like it forgets that it's learnt. It forgets that it's graduated. This person is now has the ability and the training and the certificate to prove that it can be a teacher. And it's almost like going, oh yeah, oh, maybe I need to do studies to be a better teacher. And like, I'm finding that hard to explain, and Spirit's saying to me it's because it's when you give it in an analogy like that, it's ridiculous. But Spirit made it, or gave me that the idea of the teacher, because it just sounds so ridiculous. But when we do it in our real everyday life, we finish journeys and all we hold on to is the pain or the emotion or the lack that we're feeling, or we don't actually realize, wow, that journey taught me that I choose partners based on what they can offer me. I choose partners based on a financial support, or I might choose a job on just the money it offers me, or I might choose a place to live just because I can say to people, oh, I live here and it sounds grand, or whatever. But not looking at, well, I don't really want to live there. You know, it's that kind of thing. And so then we don't see what we've learnt. So then we go back and do the training again. That's why this graduation card, when I see it in readings, I kind of think there's a need to pause. There's a need to acknowledge that a journey has finished. And that journey has had a lot of lessons in it. That journey has taught you a lot. The person that started university to get this degree in teaching is not the same person that graduates. They have so much more knowledge now. They have so much more maturity. There's been a lot of learning, not just in their degree, but that then spills out in their life. And there's a sense here of, we can see that when we got job progression, or when we literally are training in something. But when it comes to our life, we don't see it. And I feel with this presence, so this other overall energy that says presence, I feel that you being in the present moment, I really feel this is at this full moon, I really feel pole number 3, there's this aspect of time out. Take a time out to see where you are, what you're doing, what's happening, where you've been, and really be in the present moment. So Spirit's saying, not just looking at your past, looking at, gosh, who am I now? There's been a journey. And this presence card, I just feel it's opening your mind to your future. It's like this was your past journey. This is what it looked like. And you reached it. And now that door opens, that portal opens, and there's a new life for you. And different. This pause is so important. This being in the present moment and being with your present self, being present with yourself, seeing you for you, seeing you for what you want, is so important, because Spirit's bringing me back to the cards. But you know, let's go back to the analogy, this person training to be a teacher. You know, they might finish their training and they might do some work experience, or they might get a job in this field, and then their heart might sink. Now, if you're not present, if you're not sitting in the presence of yourself, it'd be like, well, I trained, I'm doing this job now. It leads you down a very painful path, because you're going to be out of alignment. But if you kind of go, wow, you know, I loved the training, I loved the course, but I sit in front of this classroom day in, day out for the last month or 2 months or whatever it is, and I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh, this is not for me. Acknowledging that, being truthful, being present with how you feel right in the present moment, will have you reevaluating things. And that analogy is, maybe you've entered into a relationship and you've realized, you know what? I entered in that relationship out of loneliness, or out of fear, or out of lack. And now that I'm starting to heal those aspects of myself, this relationship doesn't fit anymore. That's the energy, my friends. And at this full moon, so the full moon is all about releasing and letting go. It's about forgiveness and gratitude as well. And with this 10 of Swords right at this full moon, this is showing me ending. Not just because it's a 10, but this is final. This person, you know, I'm not saying that you're dying or anything like that, but this person's dead, you know, and that signifies not the physical you. This is the old you. This is the you that started way back with the Ace of Wands and went on your journey. That you doesn't exist anymore, because all the lessons along the way changed you. We change with those lessons. Hopefully we grow and we open and we evolve. So there's this sense here right at the full moon that there is a lot you need to release, pole number 3. And I think for a lot of you, it's this old aspect of yourself. Understanding that you're not who you were when you first started this journey. This journey has reached its completion, and now you move forward as the evolved and grown and changed and learnt you. This journey also, this full moon also asks you to forgive. You know, I'm seeing with these swords there was a fair amount of maybe pain or disappointment in your past journey. The future looks much brighter. The sun is dawning, like this is dawn. The sun is coming up. So this is a sense of, don't think that your future is going to look like your past. And this is the promise of a brighter future. But there is a sense here that you need to learn from the past. And then in the waning moon, which is the time of the month when we slow down and take stock, things have started to fall away. Or maybe at the full moon we've realized what needs to fall away. And at this waning moon, we're kind of starting to let things go. There's a slowing down, there's the further releasing, and that's basically getting our energies ready for when the new moon comes and we set those new moon intentions that are more aligned with who we are now. And there's a sense here that I feel for you, pole number 3. Your biggest challenge at this waning moon is going to be to let go. Maybe even to slow down and stop. I feel like there's going to be a sense of grasping. There's going to be a sense of, no, I fought too hard to stay in this relationship. I'm going to stay in it, even if it's not right. There's this sense of lack I'm feeling, pole number 3, like you've put in so much effort, and now to let that thing go almost seems like, well, then I've wasted 2 years of my life. I've wasted 10 years of my life. I've wasted 6 months of my life. And with this 8 of Swords, Spirit's saying, maybe flip that question and say to yourself, how much more time am I willing to waste on whatever this is? When we have things that we need to release, they tend to become more painful as time progresses. And when I mean painful, they can become more annoying, more challenging, less joyful, definitely less joyful, less happy. You know, if it's relationships, that just, it almost feels like suddenly you're talking a different language to the other people, because every comment, every kind of misses, and everybody's more sensitive and more reactive. So Spirit's saying, pole number 3, how much time do you want to give to that energy? Because then at the new moon, which is when we make, so the following week, at the week of the new moon, which is when we make and set our new goals, wishes, intentions, we look into our heart and see, oh, what would I really want now? You've got the 9 of Cups. Now this is achieving fulfillment on a really big level. It's saying he's sitting on a hard bench because he's saying, don't get comfortable. Spirit's saying, don't get comfortable. There's more to come. There's more work to do. There's more growing and evolving. There's more journeys. There's always more journeys. But this is a real amount of fulfillment, and it's like these cups are up here on this backboard, almost like trophies, just kind of say, look, this is everything I've achieved, this is everything I've accomplished. And it's not ego based, because this is for true fulfillment, whatever that means to you, pole number 3. This is bringing you to a place of, I can set my goals and dreams in a line with where I really want to be. This 9 of Cups, let's go back to the example of a relationship that you've just been holding on to because it's comfortable and you've been together forever, and maybe you don't want to be alone or whatever it is, my friends. This 9 of Cups, this energy is one that is like, do you know, at one stage this relationship did fit me, and I'm seeing more and more at what level this relationship no longer fits me. I'm going to set my wishes, my goals, my dreams in alignment with what fulfills me now. This relationship no longer fulfills me. And at the new moon, like you're releasing here, or hopefully you're releasing at this full moon. The new moon is not about releasing. The new moon is about understanding what you're now in alignment with. What would fulfill you now? So if that was a partner, what would that partner look like? And I don't mean what would that partner physically look like, but how would that be? What would that feel like? You know, it's almost seeing, sometimes not so much exactly what you'll be doing in your life or with whom or where. Sometimes it's almost like, how do I want to feel in my future? Because setting your wishes, dreams and intentions, you're setting them for the future. You're looking at who you are now and where that you wants to go. So there's this sense here with this Nine of Cups. It's setting those intentions, going, well, I would like my life to feel like this. So sometimes you don't even, sometimes we can't pinpoint. We can't say, well, when I live here with this job and that person, that's my goal and dream. And sometimes we know that, but sometimes that can really limit. So when we set our goals and dreams and intentions with that much precisiveness, Spirit saying, you know, being that precise, if we're not open to, but it will come how it comes, we can really limit ourselves, and that can create pain. So sometimes not knowing exactly what you want, but kind of almost knowing what you don't want, can actually be even more of a blessing when you set those dreams, goals and wishes, because you set them from a place of, okay, I don't want that, I don't want that. But that's not what you're saying. You're saying, well, this place makes me feel restricted. So you might go, okay, I want openness, I want opportunity, I want choices. You might say, oh, this relationship, oh, you might want freedom. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit just said freedom. Some of you might just go, do you know what? I want freedom. That can be freedom with maybe to not have a partner, freedom to be able to pick what you want, freedom to be able to be in a space where you're not always kind of looking at what the other person wants. So there's all this energy, but sometimes it's just honing in on what that feeling might be. I want more peace and rest in my life. You can put that down in your wish list. Spirit will be like, okay, then, well, let's have a look at what brings you that. You might find yourself moving to an environment that brings you that, or you might find yourself lessening your hours at work, or changing your job to a calmer environment. But the letting go and the releasing and the understanding, I feel what you don't want, what your previous journey has shown you about yourself, is really, really important, especially at this new moon, because the new moon, because look what comes next. Now, the waxing moon is the time that we take action. We've set our new moon wishes and intentions, and now we're really starting to look at, okay, how can I make this happen? And you've got the Ace of Pentacles. That's a gift from the universe based in tangible, real life things. So it is an opportunity to move your life in the direction that fulfills you. And really, pole number 3, I'm going to say the only thing that Spirit is asking you is to let go of what no longer serves you. And I know I'm saying, oh, look, that's the only thing Spirit's asking you. And trust me, as someone that's had a few years of releasing and letting go, and I think we more or less all have been kind of through that, we know how difficult it is. But I feel that your future is greatly impacted by that. I feel that these opportunities in your future, if you haven't made space for them, I feel rather than having these opportunities, I feel like you're going to have more lessons. It's like this graduation gets pushed back, and suddenly it's like you got to go to summer school to do just that bit more training to get these higher scores or something like that. And being in the present, I feel that this card is so important to say, this is where you are now, at the end of a journey heading into a new one. Look at who you are now. That's where you should be making your choices from. And I love the Moonology cards here, because it says a personal issue reaches resolution. And I feel this is that, the letting go. It's almost like you let go, and then there's almost like this, oh my gosh, I didn't know I would feel so good letting go of that thing. I didn't know I would feel so good with not having that thing or person or whatever it is in my life anymore. It reaches resolution. And I really feel that this letting go, because this is where we are now. We're at the full moon. You've got this Ten of Swords at the full moon. It's understanding that you're at the end of a journey and you need to release and let go in order to move forward into the new journey. And this card, this full moon in Cancer card, I feel like it's saying it reaches resolution, which means the problem is solved by this releasing. And then we end your reading with the new moon in Taurus, which is prosperity lies ahead. And this is stable, grounded energy. Taurus is an earth sign, and it is a fixed earth sign. So it is grounded, it is solid, it is stable. It's not willy-nilly and flash in the pan kind of energy. It is in it for the long haul. Pentacles are like that as well. Pentacles signify the tangible things in our world. They are also the earth signs. The cups is your water signs, and the swords is your air signs. This symbolizes your mind. And there's this sense that there's longevity in here. This is moving forward on your path. It's aligned energy, because the authentic Taurus energy is stubborn. So there's this sense of, I'm not seeing stubborn in the negative sense here. I'm seeing stubborn as in you coming to real alignment with who you are, and you're no longer allowing yourself to hold on to things that don't suit. This is no nonsense energy. Thank you, Spirit. It's no nonsense energy. It doesn't get caught up on the emotions. It doesn't get caught up on the what am I trying to say, Spirit? The no nonsense is what Spirit keeps saying to me. It doesn't get caught up on thank you, Spirit. So Spirit is showing me that the Taurus energy, you're embracing it in order to fix, and I use the word fix yourself. Sorry, I'm using the word fix very loosely. To fix yourself on your new path, not to keep yourself stuck in the old one. So it's almost like this Taurus has seen, this bull has seen the green pasture, and it's like, well, I can stay in this paddock that I know very well that has no more grass because we've eaten it all, or I can take myself to the grassy paddock. And it's like, well, it's a no-brainer for it. And I feel that when you start to release pole number 3, I think you're going to see what a no-brainer it is for you as well. Sitting in this seat, you're going to be like, why did I hesitate? You might actually even say to yourself, why didn't I do this years ago? Don't fall down that trap. This was the perfect time. And I think you're going to trust that, and I think you're going to see that. But it really is about letting go. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 3. Love, light, and blessings, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, pole number 4. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you for this full moon. So the overall energy, we have past, and then we have sunrise. Oh, I really like that. It's almost like walking into the sunrise, you know, the new day. With the tarot, we've got the 4-week breakdown. So at the full moon, we've got the 4 of Pentacles. At the waning moon, we've got the 3 of Cups. At the new moon, we've got the King of Swords. And at the waxing moon, we've got the Fool. Wow. Actually, I've really felt that in all 4 readings, the 4-week breakdown has just been so good with the energies. Like, it's just played out so well with the energies. It's almost like being shown exactly what you need to do now in order to have this kind of future. It's really lovely. You've got new moon in Gemini with communication, and you've got the void of course moon with nothing will come of this situation for the additional messages with the moonology cards. So let's get started with this overall energy, and it says past. And I feel that your past is linked with this 3 of Cups. And I'm wondering if that's why some of you find yourself a little bit stuck at this full moon. I feel like there's been a fair bit of joy and a fair bit of an accomplishment in your past, pole number 4. So I feel there's a hesitance to move forward. But there's this real sense, I think pretty much in everybody's reading, about there's a new journey beginning. And I feel for you the journey comes with the Fool at the end. And it's like right now, your past is only there to serve you, pole number 4, to enable you to see how you've grown and changed. Your past is there just as a lesson, just to give you an aha moment, just to give you clarity about what you don't want anymore, because you're different, you're changed. And I feel like she's walking into her future, and I feel like she's walking quite confidently. She doesn't look hesitant. And I also am very drawn in your reading that she's not dressed for the environment that she's in. And she's actually wearing high heels, and it looks like she's wearing a little bit of a suit kind of thing, you know, blouse and a skirt. So she's quite well dressed. It doesn't match her environment. And pole number 4, that's showing me that you no longer match your environment. Well, I'm not going to say you, let me say her. She is dressed for her future self. And when I mean dress, that means she is embodying her future. That's not because it's not like you're changing yourself in the now for your future. Basically, it is that the past can no longer hold you because you don't fit in that past. This person fits in I don't want to say the future because it makes it look like we're looking forward, but this is your next present moment. And you need to let go of the past in order to get to your next present moment. And you are so ready for this. That's what her outfit is saying. She's ready to be in her actual now that aligns with her. And in order for her to get to that now, she has to let go of her past. Because there's a sense here that without that part, like without that ending, if you like, you can't do the moving forward. Without the acknowledgement of, well, look, this is who I am now. I would be wronging myself if I stayed here. And the moving forward is basically becoming aware of what no longer serves us. It's becoming aware of how we've changed. Now, sometimes that means we change our outer lives. Sometimes that means we adjust our dreams and goals to fit who we are now. So sometimes our outer world might not change so much because our inner world has changed so much. And it's in the next journey that we undertake that our outer world starts to change. And I kind of get the feeling that for you, it's more that sense. It's more your inner world that has transformed to the point that you just need to take stock of that. So before you can change your outer world, you actually need to realize how much you have changed, pole number 4. I hope that makes sense, my friends. I'm sure as we delve into the cards, I'm sure there will be a lot more like clarity that comes out of that, because your other overall energy is sunrise. And I'm feeling that this sunrise is this clarity. It is this opening. You know, look at this light and then look at this light. You know, it's walking into the light and now she's here. There's a level of understanding and opening, I think, that is required of you, pole number 4. So what does that mean? I'm feeling that between this full moon and the next full moon, there's probably not a lot in your life that will change. So I feel when we're talking about letting go at this full moon, I really feel like you're letting go of aspects of yourself. I really feel that your past journey, maybe there was a lot of change in your outer world in your past journey. And then right now, these energies are kind of saying, okay, those changes have changed you. Now look into that. Now see how that sits with you. How does that work with you? How do you feel guided with that, or not guided? Do you know what I mean? It's like there's so much internally that has changed. I feel sometimes you might be going through a period, pole number 4, where people will ask you something and you'll be like, oh, I don't know. Like it's something simple, like I'm just seeing you sit at a restaurant and you've got a menu and you're like, oh, I don't know what I want. And the other person's like, well, you know, do you fancy something sweet, or do you fancy something, oh, I don't know, do I want a big meal? And I feel like it's almost like suddenly you just don't know yourself anymore. Whereas you might have been somebody that was quite decisive before, and now you're like, oh, I don't know if I really fancy that. I don't know if I really want that. And it takes you a long time to decide. You know, just got in my head. I just glanced down at this 4 of Cups with 4 of Pentacles, sorry, with what I was saying, and I'm just getting you going, oh, And I'm just thinking, like, people are looking at you going, oh my God, you and you are so much. What's wrong with you? And there is nothing wrong with you. It's just pole number 4 that you are, I want to say you're like this new person, and you've got to get to know yourself again. And getting to know yourself again is not easy, because we have habits. You know, we like, you know, we had a habit of getting up and doing this, and then we did this, and we generally cooked like this, or ate here, or liked this, and then suddenly you'll do your habit and you'll be like, oh, why did I do that? And things are just not going to sit with you sit very well with you anymore. And so then there's this energy of going, I'm all over the place. What's wrong with me? And Spirit's saying that nothing. But you've walked through this portal and you're looking at a new day and you're going, wow. I think if you stop and you acknowledge this sunrise, this walking away from your past into your sunrise, if you acknowledge this sunrise card, pole number 4, I feel like you're going to have a moment of going, wow, I'm so different. I've changed so much. And I feel the people around you are going to really show you that. I think people are going to say to you, oh my gosh, you used to be so decisive and now you can't make a decision. Or people used to be like, oh, but you used to love doing that. And you're like, yeah, I'll take it or leave it now. And it's little things like that that are going to make you go, oh, I've changed. Because this is your 4-week breakdown. So you've got the 4 of Pentacles at the full moon, this full moon. You've got the 3 of Cups at the waning moon. You've got the King of Swords at the new moon. And you've got the Fool at the waxing moon. Beautiful, beautiful energies. So this 4 of Pentacles, this is making me see that it's almost like what you do, like I'm seeing your feet as like the actions that you take in the world. The pentacle at the heart is what your heart is calling you to do, and the pentacle up here is kind of like at the same time your mind and at the same time your soul. So they're different, but I'm seeing them as both. And I'm feeling that, actually Spirit just corrected me. He said, yes, it's at the crown. He goes, but this is your mind, your heart is your soul. Okay, so we've got your actions in the world, your heart and soul, and your mind. And I'm feeling that they're a little bit at loggerheads. I feel like your feet is wanting to do one thing out of habit, and your heart's going, hang on a minute, no, this is what you want. And then your head is going, yeah, but I always do that. And so there's this imbalance, discord through you. And I really want to say to you, pole number 4, this is not you and others. This is you and you. And I feel that you've just been through an awakening. I think you've just been through a shake-up. And I feel that now you find yourself on the edge going, not just what do I want, but who am I? Who is this new person? Because you're finding that suddenly you don't want to eat the same way. Suddenly maybe exercising was super important, and now you're allowing your body to rest, and you still go for walks and you still exercise, but the intensity is not there anymore. Maybe you you were very goal orientated and very career orientated, and now you're kind of starting to think, do you know, I'd probably love to be part-time. And your brain's just going, what? Because if somebody had said to you a year ago or 6 months ago or however long it is for you, pole number 4, oh, would you consider going part-time, you would have laughed. And I'm not saying that's just an example. I'm not saying that's you, pole number 4, but that's the energy. That's how chalk and cheese it is. That's how different it is. And so you see it because you can't not see it because it's so obvious. Yet you've got these past habits, this past way of being that still kind of is automatic in you. And then you do things and you think, oh, why did I do that? And then you're like, but I love doing this. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want to do that anymore. This communication is key. I believe this is the twins. This is Gemini energy, this new moon in Gemini. This is you talking to you. And Spirit just said to me, tell them that they're not going crazy. And my friends, it can feel like we are. Because suddenly we're having these debates with ourselves. Suddenly we're kind of going, okay, well, I don't want to do that anymore, so what do I want? And at this full moon, I think this 4 of Pentacles is guiding you towards letting go of the aspects of you that you've outgrown. The aspects of you that really, Spirit's saying to me, no longer exist except for in your habits, except for in that autopilot mode. But when you're present, they're not there. And with this 4 of Pentacles, I'm really feeling that Spirit is saying, give yourself the time. There's no rush. There is just absolutely no rush. Take your time to align these different aspects of yourself. Because that's where all the answers are. And at the waning moon is when we do slow down. The waning moon is when we do take stock of what is exiting our life. Often it's when it exits. And I feel here the people around you, your environment, is actually, it's going to show you where your joy is. Like, it's actually going to help you by shedding clarity. It's actually going to show you not just how you've changed, but it's going to show you that you have changed. And I feel like it's going to do it in a really positive way. Like, it's going to come in, the people around you and your environment are going to come in, and I feel it's supportive of who you are now. I feel it's encouragement. I feel it's confirmation of kind of this conversation that you're having with yourself, but that you kind of doubt a little bit. And this is showing you, like, very clearly, I find. But it's showing you your joy. It's showing you what you see as fulfilling now. And I really feel it's like, it's this celebration of who you are now. And I feel that, I don't know that others will be celebrating who you are, though for some of you maybe, but I feel the information your environment and others bring you will cause you to celebrate. I feel like you'll be going, wow, I've really let go of a lot of fears. Or wow, I've really moved past some trauma. Or wow, I've really gained confidence or insight or trust. wow, for the first time in my life, I see my self-worth. It's that kind of energy, my friends. It's that kind of clarity. And then for the new moon, which is the week where we set our goals, our wishes and intentions, you've got the King of Swords. And the King of Swords, that's the sword of truth. That's the sword of clarity. So this King of Swords in your reading, pole number 4, is basically just saying to me that by the time the new moon comes around in August, you will have enough clarity to know what you want now. And I'm not saying that you'll know all the steps and the whole path and exactly what you want, but I feel that this confusion about this arming and ahhing has gone. And this is clarity on, right, you know what, I really see myself now. I can see how I've changed. I can see how that I'm going to want to make changes in my life. Maybe you might not quite know all the changes you want to make, but there's going to be a level of honesty, of seeing clearly. And the honesty comes from being honest who you are right now, honest of what you've let go of. And I feel this energy is going to feel so good. It feels so good to me, pole number 4, because it feels like, oh, finally out of this, oh, why can't I make a decision? Why is everything so hard? I just don't know what I want anymore. Suddenly here there's that clarity, that clear, decisive energy. And the King of Swords is no nonsense. It doesn't mess around. And I feel at the new moon, you're just not going to be mucking around. You're just going to be going, you know what? I want something that fulfills me on this level. I want something that takes me in that direction. You know, I want something that, and you fill in the blank. You won't be able to right now because we're at the full moon where you're still umming and ahhing. But I know me telling you about this clarity is going to feel like, oh my God, I just want to get there. Because this indecisiveness, I feel, is kind of really doing your head in. I feel like it really is making... It really is making your life difficult, because I feel by number 4, you probably were quite a decisive person. And I feel that's why you've got the King of Swords here, maybe say not like the Page of Swords, which is that new energy of, oh, I think I know what I want now. I think you're getting back to that stage of being able to make a decision from a place of alignment. And then at the waxing moon, which is the week after the full moon, this is when you take action on those hopes, dreams and goals. This is when you make those plans, and this is the start of your whole new journey, pole number 4. This is your leap of faith. And I like that he's looking at the King of Swords, because I feel that this is you taking that leap of faith in the direction of clarity, of alignment with who you are now. Now, Spirit's just called me to notice that you've got Pentacles, Cups, Swords, and the Wands. I see the Fool is holding the Ace of Wands. So you've got all the elements here. You've got the earth, the water, the air, and the fire. You've got the tangible world. You've got the emotions, the feeling, the fulfillment aspects. You've got the mind, the clarity, the wisdom, the knowledge, and then you've got your calling, your purpose, your soul. The Wands is your soul, and this just reconfirms being in alignment. And this Fool is the first major arcana. It is the Fool is that first step. That's why it's a 0, because it hasn't quite taken that step on its next journey that leads to the world. So we call the major arcana the Fool's journey. So it brings you to that initial leap into, I'm just going to say, a new life. Spirit saying a new life, whatever that means to you. It might be in an area, it might be a completely new life, it might be whatever it means to you, but this will bring another cycle, so more change and more growth. And I feel that once you've worked through this energy, his little bundle here, that means that he's traveling light. That means that he's worked through his past, his baggage. He's no longer lugging emotions and aspects of himself from his past that he no longer needs. He is, look at this sun kind of thing, sunrise, the sun here, he's walking into his new day, his new life. And I feel that that is like completely. And I think that's why this is so difficult now, pole number 4, because these aspects of yourself that you know, operating from habits and a comfort zone, because, you know, we know that we like this, we know that we don't like that, we know that we want to live in a city and not the country, we know we like the beach, we know we want this, and suddenly when that gets turned on its head, it's like suddenly we're kind of going, do I want this? So everything becomes a question mark. So I'm seeing this as a question mark on everything. You literally are, it's almost like on every level, just about, pole number 4, instead of being able to state a fact, you are now asking a question. And that's energy that's difficult to navigate, because suddenly everything's going to take you that little bit longer to do, because you're coming at it from, oh, do I want that? Do I like that? Everything's a question that needs to be answered. So don't think there's a lot of forward movement here until you get to the full. And then we've got the additional messages with the Moonology cards, and you've got the new moon in Gemini, and this says communication is key. Now with the Gemini energy, I'm really getting this energy of the mutable energy with this Gemini card. And the mutable energy means able to move and roll with the punches, able to move with the flow and roll with the punches. The mutable signs in the zodiac are the ones that are probably the most comfortable with change. And I'm really feeling that energy with this Gemini card. And then with the communication is key, I think it's going to be so important. Communication is going to be so important, because the people around you, they kind of know the old you. And as you've changed so much, you're going to need to communicate your new needs and wants as soon as they become clear. There's this sense of communicating with you so that you are clear how you've also changed. This is that energy of asking those questions. You know, being honest with the people around you and saying, do you know what? I don't know why I'm just not a big fan anymore. I feel really drawn to this. Do you want to try that? Or you go do that, I'd rather do this now. You know, there's just, so it's going to be communicating that is going to be quite important. And with communication probably comes setting those healthy boundaries with saying, oh, look, you know, I know that I've changed so much. I know that I'm really different, but right now I need this. So communication is going to be really important. And then you've got the void of course moon, and it says nothing will come of this. And I find this energy really interesting in your reading, because I feel that here in like your past standing at the portal to your future, to your present self. But this new you being still in the past, where you're going to make all these changes, this here where you're asking yourself all these questions, I feel, pole number 4, that there can be a lot of fear in that space. And this void, of course, moon, this card that says nothing will come of this situation, I feel like it's spirit reassuring you. It's spirit saying to you, nothing's going to come of that. Not yet anyway. This is not like, I think some of you are kind of thinking, what does this mean for my life? Like, oh my God, what's going to happen to my life? And Spirit's almost saying, you're not there yet. You just need to figure out who you are now. Your life is not going to change. Not right now. Later it will, but you will have more knowledge and understanding. You'll be the person that can make those changes. You're not there yet. You just need to accept how you've changed. That's this whole reading, pole number 4. It's all about you and seeing who you are now, how you have changed now. So how this is going to impact others, how this is going to impact your exterior world, Spirit's saying you're not there yet. That's not what's important here. Nothing's going to come of that. So we're just looking at the present moment, this sunrise, this getting the new you to this dawning day. New me. This dawn will show you who you are now. Your world will change later, the more you embrace the real you. But right now, I don't think your outer experiences are really going to change. It's after this full that it will. Of course, you're all on different timelines, so this will play out at different time frames. But in this energy, because this is the now, this is the full moon, nothing's going to come of you going, oh, I don't like this anymore. Oh, I like this now. Oh, I don't want to do that anymore. Do you know what I mean? So please, please, there will be fears attached, because there's always fears attached when we look at ourselves and go, oh my gosh, who am I now? You know, and discovering that. But I almost feel like there's this sense, the more curious you can be and the more excited you can be about how you've evolved and changed, the less you'll tap into the fears that might be associated with that, my friends. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 4. Love, light and blessings, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye.